Cioci
my
Ploop?
parents
How
meet
did,
again?
Babci and Jaji? Tell them the story.
Well, my father must have taken the trolley from Thorndike to where?
To a party,
Or something, I don't know.
and
And he just called her into the other room. Will you be mine? Będziesz moją. You know what I mean? Będziesz moją. Będziesz moją, I suppose, you know, if you wanted to say it real. But he was from the farm, so he says będziesz. And she says yes. And they get married.
that was the first time they saw
didn't
each
date?
other?
Yep, the first time they saw each other.
Did they know each other from the old country?
No, because my father's from Przybówka and my mother's from Cioci.
So they got to know each other after they got married then.
Yeah. Well, I guess they got... Well, still, they were married in 1908. Yeah. And I was born in 1910. So they had a couple of years without me. But then after that, between 1910 and 1913, they had 4 children.
So
What was it like growing up with all those brothers and sisters?
Well, I
being
was
the
oldest one.
especially.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you end up
but
taking...
my mother, 3 of her sisters came from America, from Poland. But one of them went back. She didn't like America. But 2 others, Mrs. Lech and Mrs. Schlozuk, and they all lived together in the same house until the other girls had their 3rd child. Then they went on to their own home.
So 3 families.
For 3
all
families.
together.
And they used to play cards an awful lot. And of course, when I was a little older, I would watch the children. Ruzha, you watch the children. Pilu, Dzieci. There'd be the cradle, you know, that they rock by hand. One baby would be at this end, and the other baby would be at the other end, and the others were in the bed that my mother and father slept. I think that's the way it was. Because they slept downstairs. And the boarders were upstairs.
Did you have any memorable babies you took care of, your siblings?
No, they were all brats, I guess. I just took care of them, and when they made pee, well, I didn't make any diapers for them. I just told them they were pee. And I remember how they used to laugh. You know, Kashmirs used to laugh like anything.
Kashmir.
And today, I think I know what they were talking about. Oh, gosh.
What were they
What
talking
do you
about?
think they were talking
Well,
about?
about sex and other people and stuff like that. Today, I know that it's that what they were talking about.
Geez, even in the old days they talked about that.
And they talked about some girl. A poor girl got pregnant by somebody, and they didn't know who it was. And you know what Kashmir says? Duch Święty, the Holy Ghost, is the...
He was a funny guy. I remember.
Oh, yes, he was funny. And they used to sing funny songs. But
Who's Kashmir?
well, my mother's brother-in-law. You know, he married... There was Agnes. My mother was Sophie, Agnes, and Yusha.
Josie.
Yusha, yeah.
And Carolina was born after they left, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, she had to be Karolinka. She was born later.
Caroline never... Well, Caroline was born after my mother came to
Right,
America.
yeah, because she never saw her.
My mother never saw her, no. All she saw her was in snapshots and stuff like that. When I went with Steffi, I don't think we took many pictures.
No, I know.
I
that
don't
you
think that
didn't.
we had cameras then.
Well, they were, but you probably not like they
never
are now.
took one, you know.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've got any pictures that we took. We had pictures where the whole group was taken, you know. We went in the plane, you know what I mean? It was a group. But other than that family, no, not at all.
Did you ever cook for all your siblings?
Cook? No.
You never cooked?
No, now I cook cabbage. I mean, I'm good at cabbage. Oh, I'm blessed.
Well, Babci did all the cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up.
Did you have a favorite meal? What did you eat when you were kids?
Did you love cabbage?
Everything that, oh yeah. No, well, you have to see, when they all lived together, they were all from Poland, When they had sauerkraut, they had sauerkraut. It turned your ears. And when we came to Chicopee Falls, my mother learned from the people in Chicopee for the kids to eat cabbage. Oh, when we had cabbage, we also had kibasi. So, we'd eat the kibasi, but the cabbage we wouldn't touch. So Mrs. Sirha, she lived next door to us, she says, mix it, the fresh cabbage with the sauerkraut, and the kids will eat it. And sure enough, they did. Ever since my mother started to mix the fresh cabbage with the sauerkraut, we always ate every bit of it. It was good. And I learned from her. And I learned from Bush, and I found out that I'm one of the best bush makers.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Where did Cyprian work?
In the mills.
Which
My
one?
father had, in Chicopee and in Thorndike.
The one we went to visit.
He had the worst job. Today, now, in these times, the men would wear masks, because just the way the cotton was picked from the fields, they put them in bales, and then, they didn't clean them like they do now.
And so what did he do?
What?
He had the dirtiest job
What did
in
he
the
do?
mill.
What, like
the
what?
dirtiest as far as dust and I guess maybe even that's why you left Chicopee and you got the same thing in Thorndike.
He worked right across from the mills across from the house, right?
Well, the mills were right there. Nobody took. There was no cars. Hey, for snow plows, a horse used to draw. They put two boards together, made a V out of it, and the horse would. Of course, the streets were narrow. There were no cars then.
Tell them about the store you used to have.
The store? Oh yeah,
You
we
guys
had
had a store.
Yeah, it was three partnerships.
What'd you sell?
Everything. Movies were twice a week, on a Tuesday and on a Saturday. We sold candy then. And other than that, we sold fruit, mushroom soup. No, mushroom soup. Campbell's tomato soup, Campbell's pork and beans. Oh my God, that's why I don't eat pork and beans now, because I had enough then when I was a kid. That was the only canned food that we had. Campbell's was just starting up,
Oh, the
I
others.
ate a hell of a piss.
What should I do?
And you know what they call
You want to go
Were
straight
you there
home then?
when they called me a Campbell?
Yes. Because you'd
Well,
never
look at
go.
what's that guy doing
I
in
don't
front
know.
of you?
He wants to go this way, I guess. Did you see that old guy playing? Let's let Cioci continue his story. We'll talk about the old guy
The old guy was
playing baseball. And a friend
with
of
you
mine.
people today?
Yeah.
I didn't watch.
Yeah, I was out in the field
didn't
with
watch
him.
any of the
Yeah.
games. I took about 20 minutes or a half hour of a good sleep.
Really? Were you able to
I
sleep?
kept falling lower and lower until somebody came and gave me a chair.
I did.
Oh.
Well, you're a good kid.
Judge, will you make it to hold it if I go to my house first, or no?
Makes no difference. I'm not going to get up, because if I get up, I know I'll let go.
Okay. Because
And I don't want to go on your seat,
I know. Because I have the key to the house. I forgot.
Well, yeah,
And they won't be able to get in.
Well, you do that. Yeah. If I don't move, I'll be all right.
Okay. Well, you can always use the bathroom in my house.
I don't want to get up. Once I get up, I want to
Okay.
throw this on the floor and lay down on my couch.
Okay. Good.
Well, last week our parish had a party,
Picnic.
an outing. This here is wonderful Chicopee Falls now.
We had our tour yesterday. We were all around here.
Yeah. Paul is in Oregon or Utah.
Utah. My boy Kaz.
Oh yeah. Hey, we got an uncle named Kaz,
Mm-hmm.
and my My husband's father's name was Kaz.
Oh, really?
And Eddie's name, his middle name is Kaz.
Oh,
So there's a
really?
lot of Kazes in.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, and our other judge's name is Kath. Janik.
Bertha's husband.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah. The movie theater used to be here. Now they get a manor. They get a manure. You know, when we first moved here, the place was humming. You had the mill, you know, Johnson and Johnson that made bandages. You had Fisk, the tires. Oh my gosh! Anybody that got a job at the Fisk, hey, they were millionaires right away because they paid good, you know. When I was, when we lived in Thorndike.
They paid good before the union?
What?
They paid good before the union?
Because you had a union there, didn't you?
Oh, no. After Fisk, well, Fisk was a small outfit. U.S. Rubber took over. Then even after U.S. Rubber, Uniroyal took over.
And then you had the union?
But when I went to work first in the mills, I was 14 when I worked in the mills in Thorndike. But when we moved to Chicopee Falls, you had to be 16. So I couldn't get there until I was 16. But I'm not going to go to the mill. I worked in the mill already. I went to work in the Westinghouse. That was radios and motors.
Refrigerators?
Then after that, I needed, my mother and father needed more money. So I went to the Fisk. And I made tires, 720s.
Why did you give all your money to your parents?
Well, that was the custom. That's what we did. I only got my last 7 weeks' pay before I got married. That I kept everything. I bought my own dress. My mother didn't buy my dress or veil. We were right in the middle of the Depression. Hey, if you wanted to know about our John,
Uncle John?
Johnny, when he made his first communion, my mother bought him his blue suit at a fire sale. He never had his picture, first communion picture at a studio. We had a garden of, well, I don't know, I think whether it was cucumbers or what, or corn. That was his picture from his first communion. And when he went to parochial school, well, that's when we had the store. We had fruit. Well, he had a piece of fruit. You had to take your lunch. He had a plum. Yeah, well, you know, the rotten plums and the fruit. Well, we used to eat at home because we couldn't sell them to people. So he got a rotten plum in his lunch, and he never went back to parochial. He went to the public school.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, yeah. But then I realized when we lived in another small town, our family bought a house, but we didn't live there long. My mother didn't like it. She says it was haunted. Well, all right, if it was haunted, we moved back to Thorndike. Well, John was born there then, and we had no money. I don't know how much the doctor took. The doctor's backyard and the other people's backyard, he crossed through backyards and he delivered John from my mother, and they didn't have any money to pay him. So my father had a Polish bond. You know, Poland was getting ready, you know, and my father, very patriotic, he bought a $50 bond. And on the bond were coupons that you cut off, you know, every 3 months, every 6 months. And so my father cut off a coupon. I don't know how much you got back for each coupon, but you were going to get your money back. You must have bought only a $50 bond. And the doctor says, oh, no, give me another one. Give me another one. So my father had to cut another coupon before it was time. And the doctor, anybody could get their money for it. So that was that. Oh, and his baptism wasn't paid for. And when he was getting married, his godmother was getting his birth certificate. They needed his birth certificate. Well, on there it was written that his baptism wasn't paid for. So my aunt went to get it, and she says, "I'm not going to pay for his baptism." So my father owes
Let me get a little closer.
the baptism cost for my brother Johnny. Poor John. That's all I say. You know, John never got. I'm not going to get out because if I get out, the boys are.
Probably
Do I have to get out this time?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You stay there.
If you want to stay.